Support for this podcast comes from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative, connecting communities with the resources, infrastructure, and networks to ensure a vibrant local free press.
From KVPR in Fresno, this is Central Valley Daily. It's Monday, August 24th. I'm Soreath Hok. A Medi-Cal services provider in Kern County created an automated response to a very specific human problem.
The genesis of this was Kern family saying, how are we going to do this? What happens if our members don't even know that it's time to re-enroll?
It's a case study in how artificial intelligence may be solving a common problem in the healthcare industry, insurance enrollment. But does it risk human jobs and quality of service? A deep dive into a new report from KFF Health News. That conversation in just a moment.
August 31st is the last day to enter KVPR's $10,000 drawing. Your $100 ticket purchase supports KVPR and gives you a chance to win $10,000. Only 800 tickets will be sold. Thanks to Fresno Mazda for providing the $10,000 grand prize. Second place is a 2-night stay at Pismo Beach. Third place wins $250 to dine at restaurants in your community. But time is running out. The deadline is August 31st. Enter now at kvpr.org/10K.
And now to our feature story. When was the last time you actually had a good experience talking to a bot on the phone? It can be frustrating for most of us. But when it comes to renewing your Medicaid plan, one AI service claims to smooth things out and boost enrollment numbers in the process. The software has been launched in Kern County by the region's largest provider of Medi-Cal services. Independent journalist Mark Kreidler covered this story for KFF Health News.
All Medi-Cal providers are extremely concerned about their members either knowing or remembering that they need to sign up or renew their coverage in ways that they hadn't had to do in several years.
The AI software is a sign of a changing healthcare industry, but does it come at a cost of human jobs and services? I spoke to Mark about how the software works amid increasing federal requirements to maintain coverage.
If you're a Medi-Cal patient, you've got to remember to renew your own coverage. And for that matter, starting next year, you're going to be required under federal law to renew twice a year. That means twice a year you have to produce documentation that shows that you're qualified to receive Medi-Cal. So that's a lot. And for the Medi-Cal providers, including Kern Family Healthcare, which is headquartered in Bakersfield, that's also a huge chunk of their business. Not only are those the patients that they serve, but it's also how they are reimbursed by the government in ways that allow Kern Family to continue operating. So the stakes are really, really high. That's why Medi-Cal providers are looking for, what are the most efficient ways that we can reach out to our own members to remind them not to fall off their coverage.
And you're looking at this software that you said helps, first of all, to reach out to members and remind them to re-sign up. How else is it working with this Kern County Healthcare? How are they using this software? It's called CareForce.
CareForce, yes. And it's a San Francisco-based startup that's still sort of in early days, although the use of AI in sort of medicine in general in the medical industry is not a new thing. But the way that this particular program is being used is to automate calls to all of these Medi-Cal members who are already part of, in this case, part of Kern Family Healthcare's system, to remind them, hey, your renewal is coming up. Don't forget to renew. Don't forget to do your paperwork. The difference, or what's kind of different about this particular AI software, is that we've all been on phone calls with automated voice. That's not a new thing. But for the most part, those are really limited in what they can do. This version of artificial intelligence has the capacity to essentially carry on conversations with you. And I've heard a couple of these conversations. They're weirdly realistic. In fact, one of the patients, the Medi-Cal patients that I spoke with, told me that it took her a while before she realized this may not actually be a human that I'm talking to. And nevertheless, even understanding that, she went on to have a full conversation. The AI software is like a lot of AI these days, is a learning model. So it is constantly learning not only language model, but how to adapt to every twist and turn in a conversation. So instead of choosing from a menu, which a lot of us would do, if we called, I don't know, our cable provider or something, and we're trying to get through to get a certain question answered, this is very different. This is very much like a patient carrying on a regular conversation that can have unexpected questions asked and answered and things like that. And also to do it in their own language. This particular software, which has a nickname of Angelica, because it's a female sounding voice, can speak in 33 different languages. So it's got the ability to meet people where they stand. It's really important.
Wow, that's really remarkable when you think about how far that sort of software has come, because like you said, we've all been on the phone and been frustrated with interactions with bots, right? And it sounds like the people who are using it are even fooled that it's a real person they're talking to. But I also want to note that this service is not 100% AI run, right?
No, that's correct. And the way that Kern Family Healthcare is using the program is to be sort of the front line. This AI program has the capacity to call people at whatever contact number they have on file, their home phone, their cell phone or whatever, but also to call a couple of times. It can also receive a call. But this is on the very front line. This is that very first part of saying, hey, did you know that your Medi-Cal enrollment is about to expire? And if the person says, no, I didn't realize that, the program, Angelica, can then take them to the next step, which is say, well, if you want to get the program started, we can do that now. And at that point, what happens is what in the medical industry they call a warm handoff, which means you're then handed off to one of Kern Family's longtime employees, a human, who are really conversant in the kind of the nuts and bolts of getting enrollment renewed. That includes things like, helping you, present your information so that it can be verified. Your enrollment stuff, all the really personal stuff is handled by a human, not by the software. So right now, the software is really being used to make that really important initial contact, and can repeatedly call a number to say, hey, get in touch with us. We're really trying to, we want to help you get rolling on your re-enrollment.
And Mark, there are, a lot of people that are talking about of course, the merits of this service. They're saying that it actually helps to reach more people, right? Especially as the need goes up with more requirements from the government. But what are the potential downsides that critics are pointing out with using the technology?
Well, like a lot of AI, there's a lot of very well-grounded concern that any AI software that proves to be very effective can eventually take people's jobs. It certainly has happened in plenty of places already. So that's a very valid concern. It hasn't happened in this particular case. It has not happened at Kern Family Healthcare.
And why is that? Why are they saying that hasn't happened yet?
Well, the first thing is that I think it's because of how it's being used. What Kern Family Healthcare is doing is they incorporated this AI software in order to sort of dramatically ramp up their ability to call people. As one of their representatives explained to me, they would have had to spend $2.5 million in staffing costs, meaning bringing in new staff, just to match the number of phone calls that Angelica can make in any given 6-month period. It would take 40 employees working 40 hours a week to replicate this kind of effort. So it wasn't really, at least in this initial phase, it wasn't so much replacing jobs as it was ramping up their processes that they were already doing in a way that they could never afford to do if they had to hire that kind of staff. The longer term concern is, of course, AI is a learning model. It can learn how to do other jobs as well if it can learn how to do this job. And so, although, Kern Family Healthcare, it's not a unionized workplace, so there's no organized sort of way of expressing that concern. But experts on the outside looking in, of course, are skeptical that it will not ever take a job at some point. It's widely expected that, like any AI software, this software has the capacity to do other people's jobs at some point.
And Mark, you're talking about this software kind of being on the front lines, right? Reaching out to people initially. But if it does have the ability to go deeper in with interactions, how does oversight work? Could it be possible that somebody feels they are misunderstood or denied services because of their interaction with this kind of software?
It's possible. It is, of course. And it's one of the concerns. It's one reason why the sort of ethicists with whom I spoke and those who have studied not only AI, but also the Medicaid system, which we know as Medi-Cal, there are larger concerns. It's one reason why the state's Department of Healthcare Services here in California keeps a close watch over these sorts of things. They allow AI to be incorporated in this process. One reason they do, by the way, is because with all of the new federal requirements that are coming in next year, the state of California already realizes that we are at risk of many, many, many people falling off of Medi-Cal for reasons that don't need to be. And so they've sort of allowed this AI process to be part of the re-enrollment process, but they're keeping a close eye on it. They want to retain guardrails on the process. And at Kern Family Healthcare in Bakersfield, this has really been, the genesis of this was, I would say, extremely benign. The genesis of this was Kern Family saying, how are we going to do this? What happens if our members don't even know that it's time to re-enroll? They incorporated the software initially in a way that was meant to really do nothing but help their own patients stay enrolled. It's where it goes after this that people start to get really concerned about.
And that's what I wanted to ask, too, is whether you are seeing a potential larger rollout of this software. Could we see CareForce showing up in different places in the healthcare industry?
Oh, certainly. I mean, there are some similar models elsewhere in sort of the AI universe, but CareForce is already in process, not only with Kern Family Healthcare, but with one other program here in California. There will be others. And also, again, it's important to point out, this software right now is being used really almost exclusively, at least at Kern Family, for this one job. But it can learn lots of jobs. Even at Kern Family, they're using Angelica right now when they do have new members sign up, for example, into their family health plan. Angelica makes a welcome call and sort of says, if you have questions about any part of your healthcare coverage, I can help you with that. And eventually, if that conversation, goes on, the same thing happens. You're eventually placed in the hands of a Kern Family Healthcare worker, but there's no reason to think that's where it would stop. It's not really built to stop. It's built to grow.
And has Kern Family Healthcare indicated that they could be expanding its use within what they're doing currently?
Yes, absolutely. How far they would go with it, I don't know. The CEO of CareForce itself told me that he believes this will always be an AI and human combination. But these are big questions, and for as much as we know about artificial intelligence, we really still are sort of on the front end of the curve. A lot more will be developed. It's happening really fast. And the ability of what the software does, that ability to learn, for lack of a better way to put it, that's a human thing, learn. But this is machine learning. Certainly suggests that it can be used and will be used in other ways, and that could include, lots more of the things that we think of as sort of the administrative side of healthcare.
Well, so much changing on the frontier of healthcare. Mark Kreidler, independent journalist with KFF, thank you so much for taking time to speak to me.
Thanks, Soreath. It's nice to talk to you.
And that's today's show. Today's episode was produced by Jonathan Linden and KVPR. I'm Soreath Hok. Find the latest local news anytime at kvpr.org.
The fatal shooting of a teenager at a protest in Seattle has gone unsolved for 6 years. This is open in your face. How are there no answers?
Our investigation has uncovered new evidence and witnesses who say they've never talked to police.
Did police ever call you?
Not once.
Listen to We Keep Us Safe, a new true crime series on the Embedded podcast from NPR.